Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am joined by Chris Pawn from the Warcradle Studio. All right, so what we are here to talk about today is you guys have a new two-player starter set landing for Wild West Exodus.
It's exciting times. I mean, we've had the Red Oak two-player starter set that we released when the second edition came out 3 years ago now. Has been a real hot seller. Essentially, like just a mini starter set. It only had one pack of cards in there. It had a very small selection of miniatures, but it was enough to get people into the game and get them playing. But we found that it was a real popular set. What we wanted to do this time around was do something that was a little bit more interesting, more spectacular, something that was really great value for money, something that really appeals to not only new customers coming into Wild West Exodus and new players coming into the game, but also to existing players. People who love our existing miniatures can get something brand new that they've never seen before, and it's something that everybody's going to be interested in. And I think that's what we've got with this new set.
And the two factions in the box, if I remember right, that's the Union and the Enlightened, who have always been like two of the very, very big players within the backstory of the Wild West Exodus universe.
Yeah, absolutely. They are really the cornerstone of what Wild West Exodus is. If you put the lawmen, the outlaws, and the warrior nation aside, really in the setting, in the greater dystopian age, it's really the Union who well, it's said in the Union, so of course the land is owned by the Union to a certain extent. A prolific entity within Wild West Exodus. There's endless amounts of armored guards that you could put on the table, and have endless amounts of reinforcements for any kind of narrative play that you have. And then on the other hand, you've got the Enlightened, and they really encapsulate the super science, the kind of high tech side of what makes Wild West Exodus and the dystopian age, in fact, such a unique setting.
This box set is what I always describe as like a jump off point for anyone looking to get into the world. So what exactly have you guys included in the set to help people along with that?
Well, the most exciting thing that's in the set is an awful lot of plastic miniatures. They're all hard plastic, on sprue, modular, so there are miniatures in there you can build in different loadouts, different weapons. There are some great characters, really interesting, and the detail on them is spectacular. I'm super pleased with what we've achieved with this set. For us, it's the first time that we've made characters in this scale ourselves in plastic. Everything so far that we've made in-house has been ships for Dystopian Wars. So, having this set out it's been really, really good fun building it. And I'm sure everyone's going to love the miniatures that are in there and love how many you get. But apart from that, there are 2 sets of cards in there. There's enough dice for 2 players. Obviously, there's one rule book, but the rules will be available for free as well. There's enough in there for anybody to literally buy that box and have a really good game. And what we've done for new players as well is we put together a set of adventures that kind of help you play through every part of the game. So the first adventure deals with movement. And an adventure is a bit more combat orientated. Then there's one that deals just with close combat. There's one that then adds kind of the bosses in and allows you to start using fortune and some of the more interesting aspects of Wild West Exodus and how it plays. But that really helps brand new players, without any kind of assistance or help, to just run through a game or 5 games. And by the end of it, they'll really get to grips with the subtle nuances of the rule set itself.
I know you guys have sent me through a ton of images and stuff, so I tell you what, let's take a quick peek at some of those, and we can just sort of take a second and dissect each thing that we see. Yeah?
Sure.
All right. Well, obviously, wow. All I can say is wow, 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 because I always love the artwork that you guys do. This is fabulous.
So Union versus the Enlightened, Nikola Tesla versus Gustaf Eiffel. Now, these 2 characters do exist currently in Wild West Exodus, but they only exist in a legendary form. So you've got legendary Tesla and his big battle mech, and Eiffel in his big spider walker. So now you've got slightly smaller, scaled down versions of the two characters who are fairly iconic now within Wild West Exodus, and are really kind of intrinsically linked within the background and the lore of the world. And then you've got characters with them, some new vehicles in the background just poking out. You might just be able to see an iron horse and an iron eagle now available in plastic, which is super exciting and something that a lot of people, especially people who like Willa Shaw, will appreciate. So, you know, there's some really cool stuff in the box.
Big box.
It is a big box, same size as the Hunt for the Prometheus box. So if anyone is familiar with that, they'll know how big it is and how much you get in there. So,
all right, so we've got our rules, our quick start, and our campaign.
Full rules. The quick start guide gives you assembly guide, instructions to build all the miniatures, and some, you know, the unit cards to play with those characters. And people who already play Wild West Exodus will be very familiar with the rules, because it's not a humongous departure from the existing rules. But what we've done is we've taken and incorporated all of the errata and FAQs that we've had over the last edition, piled them into that rule book, and done a little bit more streamlining, a bit of a nip and tuck, little tweaks to things that we felt needed tweaking. And we think we've got a really nice tight set of rules now for Wild West Exodus, which we're excited about.
Fab. We've then obviously got our templates and all of our tokens that we're going to need. So these are always useful just for keeping track. You know, sometimes you can get lost if you try and keep it inside your head. So it's nice to just have these on hand. Right, now I think we're diving into character territory. Yep,
here we go. This is Gustaf Eiffel himself, who is the boss for in fact, he'll be a commander for the Enlightened. In his little spider chair, so he's going to be quite nasty up close, but he's also got an interesting enlightened weapon, which will allow him to be a bit of a threat at short range as well. So he's an interesting one.
See, I'm seeing those pincer claws and just imagining him just going, "Hello, little Union soldiers, squit, squit, squit."
I'm crushing your head.
Okay, next up. Ooh, who is this?
This is Emily Nougier. She's a new character for the Enlightened. She's a tinkerer. She is an engineer, and she specializes in automata. So you know, she works on the canine dogs and the other constructs that the Enlightened use. So she's kind of there to fix the mono calves and the strider calves that we've included in the box that go with this posse.
It's a very cool sculpt. I love the idea that she's actually holding one of the canine heads and just working on it mid battle, going, "God damn it, I just fixed this."
Yeah. She's constantly tinkering, always got something playing around with. So,
oh, hello, Iron Horse.
Yep. So these are the new Iron Horses, and one of the things that we've always wanted to do. The old Iron Horse had these great big chunky skis on the bottom, and they sat on the ground. But they are essentially jet bikes. They kind of hover a couple of feet off the ground, and that's what gives them their speed and maneuverability. And that's what sets Wild West Exodus apart from, you know, other historical Wild West games, is the fact that you have this technology, this crazy weird science, Victorian super science that doesn't exist in our own history of this period. So this is a great example of tying that together, and the Iron Horse, I think, looks really good. It's got that old West feel with what we call the cow catcher at the front, the Gatling guns, which are a synonymous weapon with Wild West Exodus, and these are the Enlightened versions. So you've got a very much Enlightened construct riding on the back of that. So this is it's a great miniature. I'm really pleased with the way this has come out.
Moving on. Well, what is this?
This is the Monaco. Again, this was one of the vehicles that was released some time ago for the Enlightened. It was in resin, so again, it was quite big and clunky. Whereas the new version, as you can see, is much more streamlined. It's got a more sleeker, more dangerous appearance to it. Again, but it's got that real Enlightened feel with the guy kind of strapped into his little cockpit area, and he's got no controls or anything. He's one with the machine.
With the way it's designed, the fact that it's sitting on this big gigantic wheel, that it's so top heavy, it gives you a sense of motion, that there's some form of gyro stabilization in this thing, just keeping it going, which I really like. Yeah, and then of course you've got two big guns on it. Yeah,
which is great. And there are alternate heads for these, so you can make lots of different ones and make them look different, and you can swap the heads out for other Enlightened heads as well, which is handy.
Yeah, see, this one, if I was doing the Enlightened, there's an instant conversion that I want to do, which is just like put a rock ramp on there with him like coming up off the end of it. I think it would look so cool.
Yeah, with smoke coming out the back of the tire. And
yeah. That could be amazing. Ooh, little spider guys.
Yeah, so this is the alternative version of that. So from the same kit, you can make the Strider Cav. Is just an alternative version. This is more of a close combat version. The Monacav, it's got slightly different rules for moving. It's a little bit more maneuverable. It doesn't have so much difficulty with difficult terrain, because it's got lots of legs and just clambers over things. And those little pincers at the front again can do some serious damage to things it gets close to.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like a rock drill mouth on it.
Yeah. So again, it's pretty nasty. It's a efficient killing machine.
Yeah, with a massive canister of fuel on the back by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very cool. All right. Ooh, okay, we've got somebody who's been stitched, restitched, and restitched.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, two of the big things that the Enlightened use are creations, which are kind of humans that have been altered and changed in some way, enhanced. Dr. Carpathian would posit, but yes, they're pretty gruesome, and they're stitched together Frankenstein creation type monsters. But they've also got automata, which are the robots. So this is Smash and Grab, and he's an amalgamation of those two technologies. He's half automata, half creation, and all nastiness. As you can see, he's got a big pincer that he grabs people, draws them in close, and then just smashes them with his massive hammer. And that's effectively what he is. He's a blunt instrument that Eiffel uses to take out and dispatch his enemies with great splatter effect.
The sculpt in this one, I really love the meld of the technological and the organic, because if you look at Smash on the left-hand side, you can see the fantastic muscle detail that you guys have been sculpting in, with the bulging veins, that screaming face. And on the other side, it's a far cleaner representation with all of the hard lines of the mechanical side of things. Really, really cool.
And the best thing about Smash and Grab is they don't really get on at all. So that will be factored into their rules as well.
Next, hello, Nikola.
This is over now to the Union Nikola Tesla in his battle suit. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? He's a
sparky boy.
Yeah, it was a brave pose for us. We spent a lot of time talking about this, and we wanted something that was really pushing the bounds of our technical and design expertise here in the studio, and really trying to experiment with something that we hadn't done before. So having him kind of hovering, using this lightning effect to keep him up in the air is a bold move, but I think it works really well. It's a really dynamic piece, and it really shows off kind of the strength and the power that Tesla is bringing to the field in his suit.
Being able just to chuck lightning at someone is always fun, especially in this game.
Absolutely.
And like you said, that sculpt, the way the lightning bolt is actually moving in and through the armor, it feels like it is like oh, what's the word? Coruscating across the armor.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to try and create something that had that kind of motion to it. You know, that it obviously the lightning isn't, and excuse the pun, Justin, it's not static. So, you know, that's always playing over the armor as he's running around the battlefield into opponents. So that's what we wanted to go for, and hopefully that's what we've achieved. But it's a really nice model with some lovely clean detail on there, some nice bold flat areas to make a nice metallic suit that will look great on the field, I hope. This is Union Bell, one of the Union Bells, and she's a bit of a poster lady for the Union. She's used in recruitment drives and publicity, PR, and is kind of a bit of a pin-up for the Union, if you like. Her name's Alana, and she's one of 3 Union Bells that hopefully we'll see the other 2 in the future in another set.
Okay.
And so she's got some gadgets that give her allow her to pack a punch when it comes to combat. But she's an inspirational force for the troops and for the Union in general. So, and again, she's a lovely miniature, and yeah, there's a lot to like.
I mean, this one does look like it's going to be a joy to paint up, because you've got a mixture of, and it's something you guys at Wild West Exodus do a lot, is you'll mix in parts that appear to be metallic with cloth. So it's going to be the decision of which parts of this am I making more metallic, more of a hard surface, which parts am I making into a more cloth, and where do I put the balance and the blend between those two. So that's going to be an interesting challenge for some of the painters out there.
And then you've got some skin as well, so there's some nice skin tones you can bring into that. So there's a lot going on with her, and I'm, again, really, she's one of my favourites in the set.
Well, you were saying she packs a punch. Just the pose you've caught with this character, it does look as if she's running forward for the superhero punch into one of the constructs, just straight in the chest and send it, flying. One
more step, and then it's good night, Vienna.
Yeah. Then we have this gentleman.
So this is Carl Fredrickson. Carl Fredrickson is he's a lawman. He's actually one of the lawman characters, but he's close liaison with Tesla in the West. So he's aligned with the Union as well. So he's mixed faction. So anyone that buys this set who's got a lawman force, you can take him out and put him in with your lawman. And lawman and Union work together quite well also. So it's a nice crossover piece. He's got a lot going on as well. There's loads of detail on this guy. He's got this really cool Fredrickson's got a lot of experimental technology. Historically, that's a portal glove that he's got there, but there's some he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. I'm not going to give away too many secrets. You'll just have to wait and see when you get the box. But he's a pretty cool character. I like Carl Fredrickson.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I'll say is just don't give those secrets to Jerry before I have a chance to beat him in the face with it.
We've already had a call, Justin. Sorry.
Oh no!
I've given him all the tactics that he'll need to crush you into the
ground. See, one of the most interesting details for me on this is you see these like hex patterns on the back of his coat.
Yep.
And what are those?
Well, they're interesting. Again, I'm not going to divulge any secrets. You'll just have to wait and see. But they will have a very interesting effect on the way he gets around the battlefield.
Oh, okay. Well, stay tuned is the words for that one. The Iron Eagle.
Yep.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah, the Iron Eagle was just a big floating coffin. It was just enclosed. It was just a big lump of resin, and we wanted to try and find a way to encapsulate that armored, bulky, defensive feel of the vehicle, but still give it some dynamism and still make it look technological and have its own character. And I think we've managed. I hope we've managed to achieve that with this this miniature. And the other thing is, it's all part of the same kit. So the same sprue will allow you to build an Iron Eagle and an Iron Horse and third variant as well, which we're not showing in this one. But this has got a lot more firepower compared to the Iron Horse. It's the same firepower as the third option, which is the Blazer, and this is a Tesla variant, so it's got the carbines, the Tesla carbines, and it is being driven by one of the UR31E Tesla bots.
I really am digging the way you've played with the negative space around the actual riders area. To actually have it's like an old gun shield from like an old like static artillery piece or anti-tank gun.
Yeah,
you then mount it onto essentially a rocket and just said, let's strap a guy to that. Let's go Acme and have fun. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. And that's the beauty of using plastic. You can do this kind of stuff in a kit quite easily. To do this in resin would have been prohibitive. It wouldn't have been cost effective, and we wouldn't have been able to get the right result. But using plastic, you get those, again, you've got those nice, clean, open areas of metal, which, show how defensive it is and how strong, thick the armor is. But you still get that, if you look at it from the rear, you've got that real feel of delicate technology and speed.
All right, then we have some of the robots.
The UR31E Tesla bots. This is the first way you can build them with the electro carbines, and again, these are the ranged variants. So this will give you some really nice firepower to start whittling away at those units of hands, or really do some damage to the characters that you're facing, or even some of the vehicles. What I like about this kit, what my particular takeaway from these miniatures is, and we spent a long time going through this, the connectors that you use to build these are set so that it's quite easy to build the arms in a fixed position, so that you can build them with the guns without losing bits on the floor or getting the ump with the whole
or
thing.
having the old floaty gun syndrome.
Yeah. So that's great. But experienced modelers will find it quite easy to play about with the positioning, cut the arms, and make their own poses quite easily. If you wanted to have, we've got one of them walking there, as you can see on the left-hand side of the back. But if you wanted to make it more dynamic and try and make them run or have them in a different pose, you can do so. And the heads you can move around as well. So as a kit, we want to try and, again, it's the best of all worlds, is having something that builds nicely for people who don't want to be frustrated with things that aren't going together as they should be, but also giving people the option to try and do their own thing with the kit.
All right, so we have one more, which is our melee variant of these guys.
I love these. This is great. And again, we're playing around with the electricity theme of this posse with Tesla and his bits of lightning energy, and that's what this shield is. It's like an energy shield. Gives these guys some protection, which allows them to close into melee range and use their stun batons to really go to town against the enemy. So it gives tactical options. People who, because you get 9 of these guys in the box.
Oh, okay.
So you can build different units of them and mix and match them as you like, and it gives people options.
So it's, again, this is one of those things. See those more veteran players that we've discussed?
Yeah.
A lot of your starting players, your brand new players, they're going to come in, they're going to see the box, and they're going to do what's the recommended build. Your veterans are going to come in and start going, okay, what can I do with this to really annoy my friends?
The other thing is with Wild West Exodus, it's all about what else you've got in your force. It's not just which is best, because really there isn't an optimum build. It's what build works with the posse you're putting together. So, if you need range support, then go for the electro carbines. If you need something that's up close and personal, then go for the guys with the batons and the shields. So that's really the player's choice, which is great.
More options is always better. And I'm loving what I'm seeing in this box so far. It looks like it's going to be really fun. A nice balanced battle between two different forces that play quite differently, I would guess. I'm sure we'll dive into that a bit later.
Yep.
And then the question is, well, the question that we'll hopefully answer is, where will we build from here as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good jumping off point. It's a really good way to get into the game, and it's a really good way to get the first plastics for Wild West Exodus that we've produced in-house. There are some other plastic kits obviously out there already, but these, I think, are really going to be a joy for people to assemble and play with and paint.
All right, one final question then. I know you guys also have Warcradle Scenics as well. Is there any particular thing you would maybe recommend to someone who's picking this box up to also grab as like a terrain, maybe spy, just to set up a basic table to begin with that would play well with this set?
Well, it would be crazy of us to set a two-player starter set in the town of Retribution and not have a set of buildings for Retribution alongside it.
Okay. You're one step ahead of me, Chris. Nicely done. All right. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I cannot wait to dive back into the world of Wild West Exodus, because this was a game, I'm sure you've seen the old Let's Plays I've done. I absolutely adore this game. I adore how the system runs. I love the world. I love the backstory. So if you're excited about it yourselves and you want to maybe dive in a little bit early, have a look at some of the old stuff that we've done as well, because there's plenty on the OnTableTop website and the YouTube channel. But also stay tuned in the future, because myself, I'm going to be hard pressed to resist diving in here. And I know Jerry here in the office has also been looking at it going, ooh, those look kind of nice. I think the big Jerry wants some of those. So Chris, once again, thank you for joining us. Everybody get your comments in below. Tell us what you think and we will move on. We'll see you again soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.